Donald Trump experienced something he almost never does: direct confrontation face to face with no room to deflect. This wasn't a reporter he could bully into silence, not a foreign leader offering diplomatic shade, but a pastor, standing inches away, publicly calling him out for his conduct and rhetoric. It happened at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C., an event meant to promote unity and reflection. Instead, Trump opened by attacking the crowd and complaining about himself, specifically about how the media supposedly misrepresented him when he joked in the past about not getting into heaven. He claimed it was sarcasm, he claimed it was humor, and he claimed the press twisted it. During his remarks, Trump once again launched into grievances about the fake news, insisting that journalists deliberately misunderstood him. He said he had been joking when he claimed he wouldn't make it into heaven, and blamed the New York Times for turning it into a front-page story, questioning his morality and legacy. Trump went on to argue that despite not being perfect, he's done tremendous good, including for religion itself, which he said is now hotter than ever. He insisted that the media simply refuses to give him credit. But here's the problem. When Trump's words are read back in transcript form, stripped of the theatrics, the full weight of what he's saying becomes unavoidable. Even many political analysts have acknowledged this. When people say, "I read the transcript and it was disturbing," it's because the printed record removes the distractions and exposes the substance. And Trump knows this. That's why he often complains about transcripts, because once his words are frozen in black and white, they can't be brushed off as exaggeration or jokes. At a prayer breakfast, instead of focusing on faith or unity, Trump pivoted to attacking Democrats, questioning how any religious person could support them. He criticized voter ID laws, accused political opponents of cheating, and turned the moment into yet another political grievance session. This was not a subtle attack. It was overt, and it was deliberate. And then something remarkable happened. A pastor stood at the podium and addressed Trump directly, not with insults, but with moral clarity. He prayed for the president, but not in the way Trump is accustomed to. He asked for compassion, he asked for humility, he asked for awareness of the real-world consequences of leadership. He reminded Trump that millions of lives are affected by presidential decisions, that leadership can heal or devastate, that America includes everyone, including families in the Midwest, and those mourning loved ones in Minneapolis. He emphasized that freedom is not selective, that dignity is not conditional, and that none of us are truly free unless all of us are protected. Trump sat behind him, visibly uncomfortable, forced, for once, to listen. Moments like this are rare. Trump is almost never challenged publicly in real time, and it exposed something important. Accountability does not require shouting. Sometimes it requires simply telling the truth in his presence. This stands in stark contrast to how much of the press corps behaves. Recently, when journalist Caitlin Collins was mocked and attacked by Trump, even while discussing sensitive issues involving survivors, not a single reporter stood up in that moment to challenge his behavior. That silence matters. Journalists should defend one another. Accountability shouldn't fall only to a few independent commentators while major outlets remain passive. And yet a pastor did what the media often fails to do. The discomfort for Trump didn't end there. Later, while attempting to flatter foreign leaders, Trump awkwardly referred to the president of the Congo, repeatedly praising him without once naming him, stumbling over his words, and reducing the introduction to vague, patronizing comments. Whether Trump forgot the name, avoided pronouncing it, or simply wasn't prepared, the moment was deeply embarrassing and revealing. World leaders have long expressed frustration with Trump's behavior, and even Trump himself seemed to acknowledge this when he referenced his experience at the World Economic Forum in Davos, suggesting that organizers regretted inviting him. He complained about Europe, immigration, and energy policies, framing himself as the lone truth-teller, while simultaneously admitting that he is not welcomed in many global spaces. That contradiction matters. Trump is increasingly aware that his legacy is slipping out of his control. That's why he fixates on monuments, prizes, boards, and symbolic achievements now, attempting to cement an image before history renders its verdict. And it's why he continues to glorify displays of force, openly praising armed troops in city streets and celebrating violence against those he labels as criminals at a prayer breakfast. This was not unity, this was not reflection, and it certainly wasn't humility, but for one moment accountability pierced the spectacle. And that matters. We will continue to document it, we will continue to report it, and we will continue to call it out, calmly, factually, and without fear. If you found this reporting valuable, consider supporting independent journalism by subscribing and engaging with the content.